What is up, party people? Welcome to this week's episode of Saturdays and Seltzers. My name is Kenj Middleton, and I am joined by my co-host Haley DeMello and our producer Tyler. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you're watching us on YouTube, or follow us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. If you missed our show earlier this week, we're now doing 2 shows a week for football season. So this show is going to be a little bit more non-football things and kind of our usual beginning and ending segments. If you're looking for just football or football bets and stuff, Tuesday shows, those are the shows for you. But that being said, these are the shows that are going to have our HLH. So if you're new here, high of the week, low of the week, and unexpected hero of the week, which is something good that happened to you. Haley, I'm going to start with you because I don't know what either of your highs are, to be honest, and I'm more intrigued by yours.
Cool. So mine is Ahsoka, it's on brand that you don't know what it is because it's like super
I feel like
nerdy.
you're not gonna feel the
It's
same
super
way
nerdy,
once
but
you figure it out.
it's a Star Wars thing. It's the newest Star Wars show that's been coming out on Disney Plus.
Yep.
With Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka, and I grew up watching Star Wars: The Clone Wars, which the character is from. So I have been watching the whole season with Tyler, and we just watched episode 5 and I almost cried. It was so good. So I'm very happy, and that's definitely my high of the week.
Word. Okay, Tyler included a
So yeah,
link
you're probably
for
gonna like
his high this
this a
week.
lot more.
Yes, I
than
haven't
that
seen
one.
this. Yeah.
But so there was a clip this week, and it's one of the best things I've ever seen. This orangutan climbs into this enclosure at the zoo, finds a possum, and launches it. It's so funny. There's not really anything else that goes into it. It's just a funny clip, but I've been watching it nonstop this week.
So did we see where, if you look, you can see where that was taken if you scroll down?
Australia. It is in Australia.
How does that happen?
I don't know.
Insane, dude.
The zoo did not have any information on whether or not the possum survived. They said most likely it did not, because it was launched like 50 feet in the air.
Oh my God.
It's so good.
I don't think I've ever seen anything quite
funny.
like that.
That is so funny.
Oh, man.
My God. I'm gonna cry, dude.
It's
Holy
so good.
shit.
I've been watching it nonstop this week.
We're gonna link that or put it in or something.
In the description.
I'll put it in I'll edit it into the video.
Oh man.
Wow.
That was so funny. Oh my God, Tyler, good work, Paul.
Good work, Paul.
Thanks.
My high was last year. I had a gym teacher from Rhode Island DM me and ask me to do some Amazon wish list sharing of some teachers at their school. I did a little bit of research, found out they were legit, and helped them clear some teachers' wish list last year. So he DM'd me again this year, and her wish list sold out in like half an hour. She sent me the nicest email. So if you send something to her, thank you. Definitely gonna do it again next year. If you or one of your loved ones is a teacher in the New England or Jacksonville area, send me one of their wish lists and just a teacher's list somewhere, and let's fucking get it done. I'm so all in on that. So if you or your loved one, teacher in New England or Jacksonville, surrounding greater area, whatever, hit me up. Love to do it. Low, Haley.
Not a load quite yet. I'm gonna jump in off of that. My best friend Liz's birthday is today, so I wanted to wish her happy birthday, and she has a teacher's wish list as well. She is a pre-K teacher, so check out my socials for that. But my low is that I have our first football game that I'm working this weekend, and there's a hurricane coming. There is a hurricane afoot. So I'm not looking forward to 45-mile-an-hour winds. If you don't know, living in New England, I live right off the ocean, so it's gonna be pretty rough from the sound of things, and I'm not really looking forward to it. But
I think we're getting 1 to 3 feet of water is
Jesus
what I heard.
Christ. Imagine if that was snow.
Yeah, I can't imagine. It happens all the time.
That'd be like 5 feet of snow.
That would be honestly way more cool. I have to drive to, actually, JK, I have to drive to work tomorrow. That's not cool.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to it. I'm gonna be outside like all day.
Well, that's just me at the Patriots game last week. All I can recommend is a poncho and your phone and your boobs.
Yep, true. I have at least two of those things, and I'll leave it up to you guys to determine which two.
Perfect. Tyler, low.
So I am moving next week,
Woo!
and it's going to be chaotic. So I'm looking forward to it, to get out of this place, and I like moving kind of, but I got to move all this junk, and I'm not really.
Do you have
thrilled about it.
movers?
Nope.
You have a
That's
friend
me.
that's gonna
At
help.
least
I do have coworkers that are going to help me move, so that's great. Shout out to them. But
can I
I
give
don't
you a
have much to
positive?
move, but
Moving sucks, but at least not everyone moves on the same exact day in Nashville like they do in Boston.
yeah, and
True
Boston
that.
is not, it's much bigger and more chaotic than Nashville. I can get to my new place much easier than I feel like you probably could have.
Duro Drive, baby.
Thorough Drive. Thorough Drive.
You
If
love
you
to
are
see it.
renting a truck, do not take
drive down
Storrow
Duro
Drive.
Drive.
But yeah,
Okay.
not looking forward to it, but
That is a
it's
low.
gonna be
Moving
interesting.
sucks.
But your
Moving
new
sucks.
place is really cool. So that's
New place
cool.
is cool. I'm excited to get in there. And once I'm like settled, but I'm not looking forward to like moving everything over there.
Totally.
Yeah.
My low was that I was driving home from the station yesterday morning. If you listen to me on Toucher and Rich, but it took me over 90 minutes to go 16 miles.
Yeah. That's tough, buddy.
I was screaming in my car. I'm not even kidding.
I also had a similar experience. First of all, that blows. Mine was not as bad, but the Air Force Base down the street hosted the Thunderbirds this past weekend and did like a whole air show situation. And I totally forgot about it. It got stuck in the traffic on 95 at the tolls on the way home, and it was miserable. So I feel you there, but that sucks. 90 minutes for 16 miles is ridiculous.
Yeah, I was like legit so mad to the point where I just started like honking at people and flicking people off. I did not give a single shit, I swear to God.
As drivers in Boston tend to do.
Yeah, dude, you know, I kind of have fully embraced the mass hole.
It's a kill or be killed situation.
Yeah.
Nobody blames you.
You either die the hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
That is exactly what happened to me. I was so young and naive and didn't have a backbone when I moved here, and now I'm such a bitch.
I saw something recently that was so funny, and it was a young man who was on the autism spectrum mildly, and he had moved from Boston to like the Northwest area, like Seattle, Portland area, and he was like, Boston is such an autism friendly city because everyone just tells you like how it is and what they're thinking straight to your face, whereas like out there he's having a much harder time socially connecting with people because it's like it's just not as black and white. And I was like, yeah, so good. And all the people in the comments were like, make Bautism merch. And I would totally buy that.
Yeah, that's cute. Okay. Hero, Haley.
My hero is Jason Kelsey. Last night, we're filming this on a Thursday, so last night was Thursday Night Football on Amazon Prime, which we will talk about later. But they were showing some clips from the new Kelsey documentary out on Prime.
I started it.
Did you?
I don't know. How is it?
Finish your thought.
Okay. I find him to be very endearing and just like a really sweet seeming person. And I don't know, I was just kind of rooting for him. So I wanted to make him my hero this week.
I like him way more than Travis.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Haley doesn't agree with me.
No, I don't disagree with you. I just don't. You hate Travis, which I don't agree with.
He's on the hate list, number 15.
But I like Jason more than Travis, but I don't hate Travis like you do.
He's the worst.
I like how Jason
hate him.
I like how Jason is with his kids, but he's just, I feel like, extremely polarizing at times. That's my only,
Jason is?
Yeah.
I just feel like I don't think he's as polarizing as his brother.
I have a tea party about him later, sort of, so we can talk more about Jason Kelsey then.
Love
Ka-chow.
it.
Sick.
Stay tuned.
Tyler, hero.
So all the Aaron Rodgers memes.
Mm,
You know,
I have
he
a
got
great story
hurt.
about this.
Rest in peace, his Achilles.
Mhm.
But there's
Rip.
just a lot of people making jokes about how he now believes in science after getting hurt, and they're kind of funny. So
So there were, if this is a trigger warning situation, please fast forward if you are a sensitive human. The 9/11 Aaron Rodgers memes.
those are good too. Yeah.
I was trying to explain to my mom the joke, and I told her one of them the other day, and she hung up on me. So
Yeah, they very niche audience for the 9/11 jokes, and you
yeah,
can't really go over a certain age group because you go too high,
totally.
they take it personally.
I have to
Gen
say,
Z loves them.
I don't
Gen
even
Z
think
loves them.
I don't even know if it was intentionally a joke, but Katie Nolan had a great tweet during the Giants game where she said it might be more respectful to just take the hats off at this point. And I was like, Katie.
Because they were like honoring the fire departments.
Yeah. And they were just getting blown out 40-0. I was like,
It's
Katie.
rough.
So I wasn't expecting Katie Nolan to have a good tweet.
I like that's good.
It was a rough week for teams in New York.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. My hero is Jamal Agnew.
Our boy.
Yeah, I love him. On and off the field, he rocks. So I tweeted how I think that Zay Jones is an underrated player earlier this week, and some guy in my comments was just talking some shit, and Jamal chirped the shit out of him, and it was awesome. I love Jamal. Yeah, just outside of him not liking the Barbie graphic, I love Jamal. But the Barbie graphic rocked, and I really want pink Jags gear.
Pink Jags gear actually looked kind of sick.
Slap.
Our love for Jamal Agnew is storied as well. Back to the Tennessee game last year. Shout out to the little boy next to us who plays him in Madden.
Yeah, and he had a Jamal Agnew jersey. And who did she say that she was dating that she definitely wasn't dating?
I can't remember. I can't remember now.
Micah Parsons.
Micah Parsons. Oh, God. Talk about hate list.
What number is he?
He is, I think, number 23.
Wow.
Okay. Slay.
Yeah, he was very disrespectful to the city of Detroit, and I'm not standing for it.
So was Jason Kelsey to Jacksonville, actually.
Really? What did Jason say about Jacksonville?
Just that we were like a dog shit franchise or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Not great.
Yeah.
Not great, Bob.
All right. Any other HLH thoughts?
Nope.
No, ma'am.
All right. So we're going to talk about F1 here. Usually we would kind of hop into football, but it's an F1 weekend in Singapore this weekend. I want to talk about, first of all, I want to get the heavy stuff out of the way so it's done. Did you see Helmut Marko's comments about Checo?
Yes, I did see that.
What do you think about the situation and then I'll ask you about Max.
Well, I think that I think that I'm a little bit tired of he's old and he can say these things that aren't politically correct because this whole new woke thing is new. Because I think that comment would not have been okay a while ago or any time. I was happy to see that the FIA came out and again, am I happy to see that there's no real punishment? It's a written warning that they've administered to him. And he has publicly apologized, but I don't know. I just don't, I thought it was pretty disgusting, to be honest. I think that's just totally off base to ever say something like that about anybody.
Yeah, it was a very quick comment. But I also just think it's crazy that you don't even know where your drivers are from. Like,
yeah.
that's insane. Or like, yeah, I don't know. If you haven't heard these comments, basically, Helmut Marko made a comment about Checo and his driving because of him being like from South America or something. And Sergio's from Mexico. And it was just like really out of pocket. And then so reporters today asked Max what his thoughts were on it. And he basically was just like, I don't think it's my place to say anything or whatever. And a lot of people kind of spun it and took it because there's like a history of like his circle and like comments similar to these prior. As much as like I do love Max, I'm not one to make excuses for Max or the like anybody in that sense. But the way that he said it made me feel as though he was saying that it wasn't his place because he wasn't a minority, not in the sense that he didn't think it was a big deal. And I just don't know if some of the criticism he's gotten has been undeserved in a way. I don't know. What do you think about that? Because like, I don't feel comfortable commenting on like race issues at times because like oftentimes it's not my place.
100%. And I think that too, if you look at what I particularly have learned in the last couple of weeks about Max's upbringing and how he was kind of brought up in that situation, which is a whole nother conversation. I think it's a very diplomatic answer. I think he's just trying to kind of be like, I don't necessarily think that it's a wrong answer either. I understand not feeling like you can comment on that. And even in a more cynical view, I understand not being able to comment on a like from a team perspective. Like if that's something that's being discussed internally and you're trying to figure out, what is the best course of action. Obviously he's getting I'm sure he's in a couple of meetings getting, shit handed to him about how inappropriate that was. So I think that, I agree that although that criticism I feel like is valid in some aspects, I don't personally like have an issue with what he said or lack thereof, because he just doesn't seem like the kind of guy that would openly comment on a difficult situation like that to begin with. He's very much keeping to himself.
Yeah, like I get like the comments with his girlfriend's dad and like whatever. But I don't know. Yeah, it's tough. And like I don't know. It's tough. I took it that way. Who's to say like I don't know him. I know that you're a product of like who surrounds you and whatever. But yeah, I kind of just like a big conversation in the F1 world, so I wanted to get it out of the way so we can be happy the rest of the time we talk about F1. Also, do you ever get like, look at this fucking dreadlock in my hair? Do you ever get these?
Yeah, sometimes.
Ugh, so annoying. I'm gonna have to brush that out and it's gonna drive me insane. My hair is getting so long.
It is so long.
I know, it's crazy. It's becoming kind of a bitch. That being said, I did also want to talk to you about what we think about the AlphaTauri seat for next season, because as things close out, we saw Joe Guan Yu like secure his seat yesterday or the day before. So like all these seats are kind of being worked out for next season, and the only ones that are really up for grabs are potentially Logan Sargent and the both AlphaTauri seats. So we obviously talked to friend of the show, Abby, this morning, and she thinks that Checo's out. Which I would be too after everything that just happened and like how the season's kind of going or whatever. Yeah, what do you think about the state of AlphaTauri and Red Bull in the next like couple of months?
Yeah, it's interesting, right? And I was going to say too, talking to Abby a couple weeks ago on the show, she was very not solid, but she had a firm, stance that they don't necessarily need to get rid of Logan Sargent. They could keep him on for another season if they wanted to. So it really is kind of the Red Bull question and the AlphaTauri question that is at the center of the grid. And I hate to say it, but I think we can all agree that Yuki C is potentially up for grabs. And I don't know what your thoughts are on that, but that's very much what I'm seeing. The Danny Ricciardo situation is also, something that is a question of, is it performance or the car, right? Like his lack of podium and doing well in practices ahead of his injury. And again, that was only a couple races, but it wasn't really living up to all the hype that surrounded him making his return to a starting seat. And yeah, I agree with the Perez comment. I think that, to begin with, I was pretty convinced that he was going to retire at the end of this season, just based on where he is in his life right now with his children and his family. He's made it very clear that that's very important to him, which is excellent, as it always should be. But I got the vibe he was going to retire anyway, especially after this. I would be out of there. And again, it is a one-off comment, right? It's not the entire team making that comment. It's one person making that comment. But if you were already on your way out, I just think that a situation like this doesn't really encourage you to keep going and stay.
Totally.
So I don't know. I think it's definitely going to be, I think AlphaTauri and Red Bull, and we've talked about in the past too, with their F2, F3 drivers and their program, their academy, they have a lot of talent in the Red Bull world. Yeah. And I think that it's going to be almost unpredictable what they're going to do, to be quite frank.
Totally. Yeah. I think Liam Lawson has earned a seat, whether it be with AlphaTauri or if Checo's out with Red Bull. I have in our notes that he's kind of he has outperformed not only Nick DeVries, Yuki, and Daniel Ricciardo with the few races he had back. He's placed better and looked better than all of them. He fucking overtook Max in the Dutch Grand Prix, I believe it was. And so I think that he's in his two races now. I think that he's earned a spot.
100%.
But that's the thing. They're gonna be so young, and that's the question. I feel like they have to keep Daniel Ricciardo, but you can't move Yuki into Checo's seat either.
That's the thing, and that's where it's like, yes, they have talent in the F2, F3 space, but this is a whole different thing. It's like when we talk about transitioning college football to the NFL, right? Like it's a whole different world once you get to F1. So you can't rely on two new drivers, I think, for the AlphaTauri position. I think that's way too risky. I think they're going to have to keep someone or move something around.
I bet they put Ricciardo in Checo's seat, and it's Liam, and then it's either going to be Yuki or an F2 driver.
Yeah, I can see that. That's the most realistic outcome to me.
And if Ricciardo doesn't perform, then I think that he's just out. I don't think he really gives a shit what people have to say or how people feel. Like, he'll still be around the sport. He'll still be around the boys. He'll be at Coda every year.
For sure.
So yeah. Haley, you have a couple things before I talk about some betting?
Yeah, so we are, as we mentioned earlier, in the midst of our Singapore Grand Prix. Some great memes coming out of this one as well. I don't know if you saw that there was a lot of talk going into this race that there are little to no overtakes on the previous track, so they threw in an extra straight. There was a meme of like the flex tape guy with the breaking water jug, and it's like one more straight onto the Singapore Grand Prix. But turns out that has benefited Ferrari, who have gone P1, they have gone 1 and 2 in P1 and P2, practice 1 and practice 2. So good luck so far. Max and Checo seem to be struggling with this track. But again, with Max, that's something that, could be the case today. And then during quali, he's going to get first and then just sweep the whole thing.
The difference between the Ferrari and the Red Bull, though. I had in our notes that I took Carlos Sainz for a podium plus 400 yesterday because Ferrari always does well with the straights and Red Bull just doesn't.
Yep. And I think that is a very good bet on your part. I would be very happy to see any Ferrari podium, but I think we're going to get 2 this weekend, to be honest.
3 things that I have found so far to be true in betting. If you can get Christian McCaffrey plus money for a touchdown, Justin Jefferson plus money for a touchdown, even though it didn't work out for me last night, that's so okay. And I'm honestly kind of finding Fernando Alonso plus money for a podium or top 6 finish. Like, they be hitting.
Yeah, love it.
So
the other
I
thing,
have Alonso on the podium this week too.
Love it. I have Duracell. If you're new to the show or don't know our storied history with Duracell, Kendra, myself, and Abby have been begging them to send us Grand Prix tickets for the entirety of this F1 season. And I'm convinced they see us and they know who we are. And I went into Rite Aid yesterday to find a Duracell display advertising a chance to win tickets. And I was like, Duracell, if you have time to be doing this, you can be answering all of Abby's tweets. So that was my Duracell comment. And we already touched on it.
I have one more Duracell comment.
Yeah,
I
hit
took
us.
Alex Albon plus 1,000 for a top 10 finish this week because of fucking Duracell. So.
I kind of love that, and I might join you on that.
And then his car had power issues today, which is hilarious because the Duracell power.
Yep.
The Williams not having power.
Not great. Not great.
So yeah, perfect for me. Any other F1 thoughts other than your Yuki thing?
No, we already touched on that too. I just feel like I know you love Yuki, but it is Yuki spooky season. He is the one that I'm least confident in having a C next year, I think.
Yeah. All right. Couple NFL things just because naturally things have happened since we last talked on Monday. Tyler put in our notes that he wanted to potentially talk about the Jets signing someone else at quarterback / where do they go here? I have some thoughts. Tyler, do you have any before I talk about mine?
Nothing real. I just think everyone's talking about it still, so we might as well talk about it too. Someone on Thursday Night Football panel last night said they should trade for Kirk Cousins. And
yeah.
I kind of don't hate it, to be completely honest.
Can they
He's in a
afford
contract
that?
year? I mean, it depends on how Minnesota views him, though, I guess. Do they view him as somebody they want to re-sign and that's worth a lot of capital? Or is it some time to move on in Minnesota? I don't know. I
just don't know if they can afford it.
I think they can make it work.
I don't hate that.
If you're talking about cap, they would be able to move some stuff around and make room. But
Robert Saleh's been pretty clear that Zach Wilson is their plan moving forward. I have in our notes that I don't really believe that. I've heard a lot of talks about Carson Wentz. Willie Whitelaw in our fantasy football league who works for the Revs keeps joking about Bortles. I don't think
Bortles is in shape. No offense.
No shot. Here's the thing. I don't think that Zach Wilson's issue is ability. I think it's himself. I think that he's very clearly naturally talented.
Kind of has the yips.
He just gets in his own head, dude. So bad. And I'm wondering if this is going to go one of two ways. There's not going to be any gray area. He's either going to suck it up really bad and it's going to be awful and all of the Jets fans are going to fucking hate their lives, or because it's so kind of low stakes at this point. He didn't think he was going to be playing this season. No. And I feel like they can't have insane expectations for him, that works out for his mental stability and he can go out there and just be like a cornered cat that kind of performs. They
still won 7-8 games last year.
Yeah.
They had a fine year. It's not great or anything, but I think they'd probably have around the same with Zach.
You're not going to win the Super Bowl, but
no, but I think they'll have a fine season.
Yeah.
And I think to your point about Saleh saying that their guy is Zach, I think that's just coach speak in a way. He's not going to say that, oh, we're looking for somebody until they get somebody. He's not going to come out and say that and put that in Zach's head. I imagine he's probably looking into his options.
I would not hate the Kirk Cousins thing. I can't lie to you.
It would make sense, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
Because I think his time in Minnesota is kind of coming to a conclusion. I don't think he's really achieved what they were hoping for there, and it's kind of a mutual separation in a way. I don't think he's crazy expensive. I think they would be able to afford him. But I don't know. That would also even further fuel my Jets hate this season, though. Just
okay, that's
for
valid.
the record. But my Minnesota bias would be relieved. Wouldn't hate him as much anymore.
Okay,
I'd be able to pull for Justin Jefferson finally for the first time in my life.
Last night there was 10 of us that went out to watch the game. And we were sitting there and Caitlin was like, where are the Vikings from? And I said Minnesota, and she goes, I would have guessed Louisiana. And I was just like, the Louisiana Vikings.
Louisiana Vikings. Hell yeah. You should have you seen those TikToks where he asks his dad to name the NFL teams based on their logo? You should do that with Caitlin.
Oh, I
That would be
should. That would
fun.
be
That could be
really
fun.
good.
I bet you that's subconsciously her identifying LSU colors.
Yeah, it is LSU colors.
Totally,
That
100%.
is
Well, it's
LSU
Mardi Gras.
colors. Yeah, yeah. It would make sense.
Speaking of the Vikings and the Louisiana Vikings and Thursday Night Football, last night they played the Eagles. This game went exactly how I thought it would, outside of the insane turnovers in the first half. That was fucking weird.
So
weird. The first
weird.
half was a fever dream almost.
The bar was going crazy. And by the bar, I mean our entire table.
And the way
It
that
was
over
insane.
still hit, the way the over still hit that game, it's just
I know.
it had no business hitting.
It was so crazy. We were watching the over the entire time because Big Cat bet the over, and we were like, oh man, he's gonna be so pissed. And then they still hit it, and we were like, unreal, dude. Unreal.
It was crazy.
I will say before we get into the actual football, real quick, I just want to say this. Prime Video broadcast, they have separated Al Michaels and Chris Collinsworth. I think Al Michaels might need to retire.
Agreed.
Because he seemed particularly old man irritated last night. I don't know what you guys thought about the broadcast in general.
The sound wasn't on at the bar.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, no, I kind of feel the same way. I don't know what it is about Kirk Herbstreit that they keep pairing him with people that should retire and be in retirement homes, because he's on game day with next to Lee Corso as his handler. Now he's with Al Michaels too. It's kind
a
of
coincidence.
I don't know how
I think not.
I don't know how he roped himself into both of those situations.
Yeah, it was. I honestly found myself feeling bad for Kirk because it was like just him trying to deal with Al the whole time.
I'm a big Kirk Herbstreit guy. He might be my favorite announcer.
I don't like him in the NFL.
I don't like him in the NFL either, but
I love him in college.
Yeah, I think he's definitely my favorite.
Which is crazy because it's the same sport.
It's different though. Yeah,
I know
what
it's
you're
so
saying.
different.
It's so different.
Yeah. I had a couple notes. The Eagles offensive line kind of looked like dog shit early last night. Like, I don't know what happened, but
their offense in general, I don't think I like their new offensive coordinator. Maybe it's a overreaction. I agree.
The play calling,
their new offensive coordinator is kind of not great.
So when Jalen had that rushing TD and there was a penalty and it came back and they ran the same play, I was like, you guys are really lucky that worked, because the play calling tonight, they had there were a lot of plays last night that I'm not gonna like go and pull the plays for the pod or whatever, so I'm not even gonna bother to describe them, but there were a couple plays last night where I was visibly sitting there talking to Ryan being like, what the fuck is going on right now? Like, now that you mention that, we said that a lot last night.
Yeah, like I'm no X's and O's guy. They obviously know more about that than me calling the plays, but it just felt weird last night.
It definitely did.
And it felt weird week one too.
They got Swifty last night though. It was a ground game for the Eagles, dude, which is kind of crazy. He had
Swift did look pretty good.
Yeah, he did. I also had Justin Jefferson for an anytime touchdown. So like the fact that he was plus money in the first place is crazy. Like that's something I don't really mind losing money on, just because odds are that doesn't happen often.
Yeah.
And I was looking into the Vikings next couple of games because they're 0-2 now and they're last in the NFC North. They have Panthers, Chargers, and Chiefs coming up. Those are 2 out of 3 tough games that I think you should lose on paper.
Yeah, I could see it. Definitely Chiefs. That's a loss on paper.
I think they go, yeah.
Imagine if they start the season 1-4.
Yikes.
Yeah, that'd be rough. But that even adds more fuel to my Kirk Cousins trade scenario, I think.
Right.
But also, I just want to pat myself on the back again real quick. I was so right about Jordan Addison.
You were.
This kid is good. This kid is good. And he's firmly in the rookie of the year
fantasy
contention.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you guys see him on Instagram this morning?
No, what did he do?
He basically a bunch of people said a bunch of racist ass shit to him, which not good. Don't do that. In his DMs, and he straight up posted their info.
Philly fans?
As he should.
I would imagine.
Pissed people, yeah.
Yeah.
But as they should. That's absolutely.
Expose them.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Any other thoughts before we talk about the Dolphins Patriots game?
Nope.
We can get into our preview for this week.
The Patriots signed Ian Book And Haley, I don't know how this makes you feel.
Frustrated. Super frustrated. Why? Literally, why?
He was
I
signed to the
don't get
active
it.
roster
No, he was signed to the
or
practice squad.
And I
But
think I'm increasingly irritated the more that I look at our notes. And I don't know, maybe we could like just if you look at who we have for quarterbacks now, it makes me angry.
I just don't get the point of like bringing in like another young guy. At least like if that's what you're gonna do, like bring in a vet. But the fact that like it's gone through Mac Jones, Bailey Zappi, Matt Corral, Malik Cunningham, and Ian Book. I know Matt Corral's on like some sort of leave or something like that. He's
he
not
might be
on.
having issues. So prayers up for my boy Matt. But
do you know what's going on?
no, there's nothing but like speculation right now.
I haven't
but he's
heard
had
anything.
issues with mental health in the past, and people are worried now. So hope he's doing.
I was gonna ask you too.
Hoping he's
Stetson
okay.
Bennett also gone from the
That
roster.
is also, I have no clue what's going on in that situation. It's non-medical, it's non-illness. I know you all joked about it being a graduation situation. That wouldn't matter because there's plenty of people in the NFL who haven't graduated college. But I don't know what's going on with Stetson Bennett.
It is sus.
Hope he's all right.
It's super sus.
His family's
I think
okay
it's sus.
or something. But I don't know.
I also think it's sus. Anyways, Patriots. It makes me feel like they don't believe that like Mac Jones is the answer. I don't think he had the worst weekend last weekend, but his first quarter, dog, sucked.
Yeah, I don't really have any real thoughts about their quarterback situation. It's weird.
And that kind of leads into like my big takeaway for this game is that like I know that the Dolphins have some holes in their secondary because of Jalen Ramsey's injury and stuff, but I'm not really worried about it in this game because like Mac Jones, like I said earlier this week, has a fucking noodle for an arm. Like they don't shoot down the field very often, and their run game's very much better than the Dolphins, but the Dolphins' offensive line isn't that bad. So I'm like, if the ground is wet, the Patriots have a chance at winning this game. Especially because it's not in Miami, and everybody knows the Patriots don't traditionally play well in Miami. But Bill also hinted to Phil Perry earlier this week that Juju might be hurt, which kind of confirms for me that maybe the rumors about the knee are true.
Yeah, it might have exploded.
Yeah. I also took the Dolphins this week. I expect them to win by 5. I think the line is 3 at the moment.
Yeah, I think the line's 3. I lean the under in that game personally. I don't think it's going to be very high. I think it was around like 48, 49 maybe.
Yeah.
I kind of like it. I don't think I'll bet it, but I kind of like it.
Any other Dolphins Patriots thoughts?
Nope. I'm predicting an L. We cannot play Miami effectively. And if Tua plays like he played last week, we are screwed. So unless our defense is as good as they were last week, we'll see.
Jalen Milroe didn't play a ton last weekend either, which is concerning.
The quarterback for Alabama?
Or not Jalen Milroe. I'm thinking about I definitely
played every snap.
I need to stop smoking so much weed before these shows. Oh man, that's actually
I don't know who you're
funny.
talking about.
I know. I'm talking about Jalen Mills for the Patriots. He didn't play a ton last week, and he was super effective for them. And that Jalen Mills and Jalen Milroe. Yeah, Jalen Mills. He actually has like a sick Instagram presence. I don't know if you guys follow him, but his Instagram is sick. But he played a ton in the preseason. I thought he looked really good, like super effective. And I just wanted him on the field more for the Patriots. I think that he's like a super interesting guy, but he's also super talented. And I think that he helps their team a lot when he's on the field. And the plays that he was on the field, I think he had like a couple huge tackles. I don't know. It was weird. I don't know if he's hurt or why they're limiting his time, but I think that would be huge if they could, keep him healthy and keep him out there. But Jalen Milroe, LOL. He looked.
Yeah, there's rumors that Tyler Buckner, the Notre Dame transfer, is starting tomorrow.
Damn.
Yeah, word on the street. But I mean, they're not playing anybody. They're playing USF, South Florida, I think.
Yeah, the games this week
South
suck.
Florida. It's weird, but we'll talk about that later, maybe.
Yeah.
No, I don't really have any Alabama thoughts, but
Chiefs Jaguars takeaways, you guys.
Got anything, Haley?
I don't have much. I hope that the Jags pull off a surprise dub, but we will see.
I think that this is an L, and I've had it on our schedule as an L, and that's okay as long as we don't get embarrassed. I feel like we're playing with house money, like no pressure, whatever.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel. It's a house money situation. Chiefs are kind of
Yeah,
wounded animal mode in a way, so I do expect
yeah.
them to play well this week.
But Chris Jones and Kelsey Chris Jones is for sure back. Kelsey expected to be back.
Yeah.
He was listed as questionable as of yesterday.
Yeah, and I know they're gonna want this win. I would love to see 0-2 Chiefs, both sad cats, but I don't have the highest of expectations.
I think the thing is, both offenses can put up the same number of points, but I think the Chiefs defense is a bit better than the Jags, which is, expected. I just need Trayvon Walker and Josh Allen to have a week like they did last week. If you can get after Patrick Mahomes, blitz Patrick Mahomes, like lights out, that's going to be the difference. And so I need them to have weeks like they did last week. I need Trayvon to make a big jump this year. And I need Josh Allen to beat the real Josh Allen, to be the Josh Allen that we know he can be.
I need both Josh Allens to be the Josh Allens we know they can be, to be completely honest with you.
Yeah. So like I said, I've already kind of come up with this as one of the L's on the schedule for me. So as long as they don't get embarrassed or nobody gets hurt, I'm fucking happy, dude.
I think the Jags are very capable of beating the Chiefs.
Totally.
I just don't 100%. Think it's going to happen. They're totally capable of doing it, but
they're kind of due for it though after the playoffs.
Yeah, it's one of the more interesting games of the week in my opinion.
Yeah. All right, Lions, Seahawks. Tyler, this is your team.
Not the most confident going into this game. If I were a betting man that wasn't biased, I think I would like Seahawks money line, probably. I don't really think the Lions have much business being favored in this game. But it's kind of the similar situation with the Chiefs. I think the Lions are very capable of beating the Seahawks. If we can get to Geno like the Rams did last week, we could win. But I'm not as confident in our defensive line as I am in Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald's best to do it. So
totally. Betting wise, I'm not touching this game. I think it's just icky, but I also think Seattle's going to win this game. But the Seahawks did look super beatable last week. I watched their game back. And to be honest, watching the Lions game back too, there were times where I was questioning a lot of the decisions that were made in the Lions game. I think that that it didn't have to go down to being just 1 point if they had done a couple things differently. But that being said, I've talked about the weapons on this offense all the time. Jackson Smith and Jigba tied DK for targets last week.
Yeah, they have the potential any given week to just go crazy offensively. And they're terrifying because they're kind of like I don't want to call them a glass cannon in a way, but they could go nuts offensively.
Also with the Lions suspension issues, that doesn't help how I feel about this. I think the difference is going to be if the Lions defense can play. That's
the key in this game is Lions defense.
Kind of how they did the end stretch of the season last year.
Yeah, that's the main factor here is how well the Seahawks will play or not.
Yeah.
Or the Lions defense will play or not. But
so you have some bets and then the sad cat parlay. I also have some bets. Do you want to do your bets?
Yeah, I can go through mine. So both of I went one because I saw what you did for your bets, and I just went a counterattack on you. I took the Chiefs because you took the Seahawks. I'm taking Chiefs -3.
Okay.
I don't really. I probably wouldn't have bet that game if you hadn't forced my hand, but I do think Chiefs -3. They could win. I think if they win that game, they're going to win by more than 3. But then the other two games I like, both Monday night next week. Panthers, I'm just betting against the Saints until further notice, until I get it right.
Okay.
And Pittsburgh, their defense is really good, and I think. The Browns, I didn't love what I saw from Deshaun last week. I don't think he looked like he improved much from last season after 1 week. I know it's early, but they also lost Jack Conklin on the offensive line. And I think TJ Watt might have a really good game. So I think this might be a defensive win for Pittsburgh.
Okay. I took the Ravens money line and the Seahawks money line, and I said, sorry, Tyler, I will either be happy or make money. But the shocking thing that I'm taking this week, I thought it was insane that Trevor Lawrence was plus money to throw an interception. He's an interception machine.
Yeah.
Love you, Jags. I'm either going to be happy or win some money. So we're rolling with Trevor Lawrence throwing a pick this week. Sorry, bestie. Prove me wrong.
Very, very possible. And then the sad cat parlay. So I don't really love the Cats this week, minus outside of the Panthers who play on Monday. Monday games don't go on the sad cat parlay. So I'm taking it's a touchdowns parlay. Amon Ra to score a touchdown, Jamar Chase to score a touchdown. I think I hope they have a bounce back week. The Bengals do this week, and Calvin Ridley to score a touchdown. So
yeah, burn.
Plus
I think Calvin
885.
Ridley could catch a touchdown every week.
I think so too.
Anytime he's plus money, I'm taking it, dude. All right. Any other NFL things before we talk about some college football?
Nope.
All right. So week 3 is this week, and the games kind of suck. I only have 2 that I want to talk about.
The games are so bad this week.
The games are so bad, and we're getting a hurricane. So what the fuck else am I going to do?
Yeah, the East Coast games might be in trouble a little bit. I don't really know the path of the hurricane, but...
Well, BC FSU is kind of on watch at the moment.
Yeah, definitely.
Wait, I have a fun story. If you are my mother, please fast forward through this. So when my first boyfriend in high school, like situation that I dated for like the summer going into high school, was already 16, so he could drive. And I broke up with him because he tried to finger me, and I was like young and like what the fuck and scared. So I dumped him. And he is now engaged, but messaged me asking he went to FSU for advice of where to go in Boston while he was in town.
Nice.
And it made me laugh.
Nice.
Wow. So T. Yeah.
Shout out him, friend of the pod.
I don't think he knows that that's why I broke up with him, but it is.
Wow.
Friend of the pod.
Friend of
Hell
the pod.
Yeah. I'm not going to say his name, but that's so funny. My kind of game of the week this week is the Tennessee at Florida game. I know that Florida sucks. I know that Billy Napier sucks, but Florida is going to upset somebody this season, undoubtedly. I know Tennessee is pretty decent. I think that if this line moves, I might be a little bit more interested in it. It's currently sitting at 6. I don't think that if Tennessee gets up, it's going to be by that little, but I do think that Florida might win this game outright.
I'm big on them winning outright. I think Tennessee is not the team that we kind of think they are and the public thinks they are, because they had they played Virginia week 1, which is a Power 5 team, but they're kind of one of the worst teams in football right now.
Yeah.
And they're weirdly, you think about Tennessee last year, they had this big like spread offense where Hendon Hooker was throwing it downfield every other play. They're not doing that this year. Joe Milton is kind of a wild card. He, last week versus Austin Peay, former Michigan Joe Milton kind of showed up, and that's bad Joe Milton if you aren't aware. And they're running the ball a lot more than they're passing it right now, which is we don't really know what to expect with that kind of offense for Tennessee. And Florida, they look really bad, but I don't want to say they're not as bad as they look, because they look really bad, but they could win this game is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
it's a home game for them.
Let me look at what the line is here.
Florida's defense has looked much better this year, I thought, than they looked last year. I like them to win outright. They're one of my favorite bets of the week, and probably the only good game of the week.
Yeah, it's definitely the only good game of the week. Where is this game on the DraftKings app? Am I blind?
I think it's a 6 p.m. game, so you might have to scroll a little bit if
okay, that was
chronologically.
My issue. Oh, I forgot that Auburn. Oh wait, no, that's not today.
Auburn's got Samford this week.
Yeah,
should be, knock on wood, for
Saturday.
Should be an easy win for him.
Where's this fucking game?
I don't know.
Am I going crazy?
You very well might be.
Here we go. Florida's plus 190.
Yeah, that's what I got him at this morning when I was putting my bets in.
I'm doing it. I have convinced myself. So yeah, that's kind of the only game I'm really interested in this week. Plus, like, I feel like it's always a good game when they play each other, like, for some reason. Like they've had like,
it's a very historic rivalry.
Yeah,
we were talking about it on
shit always happens.
We were talking about it on Pate's show yesterday. It was a playoff game before the playoffs existed. Was that game? There was so much talent on this team in like the early 2000s, the 90s, and it's a shame that it's just kind of fallen off.
Yeah, agree. And then the only other game that I had this week before we get into some of your stuff, I figured you'd want to talk about this too. I have the Colorado Colorado game. The drama with Dion has been
so good,
crazy.
It's so good. I'm
right
kind of
before
sick
we
of
hopped
it.
on. Oh, go ahead.
I'm kind of sick of how like flooded my timeline is with Dion content. It's like how, radio stations play the hit song over and over again until it's just dead. It's kind of how I feel about Dion right now. It's just oversaturated, but the content coming out of this little rivalry, it's fascinating.
Yeah, right before we hopped on, Tyler told me that Dion was buying like all of the players' hats and sunglasses. While I do agree that like there are times where that's appropriate, I think it's just a weird comment and a way to start drama.
Yeah,
but I am so sus on Colorado still.
Yeah, I think listen, I'm not touching Colorado anymore this season. I can't get a feel for them. I won't be betting them. At least I'll probably reverse that next week because I play Oregon and I like Oregon.
Yeah,
I might bet Oregon.
I do like Oregon.
It wouldn't shock me if this is the game that they just come back down to earth.
I agree, but 24 points is a lot.
24 points is a lot, and I don't think Colorado State is like, they're bad, but they're not. I don't think they're that bad.
Can you make money on this game?
I don't know. I'm not touching it. It scares me too much. After what they did against TCU week 1, I'm too scared to touch.
But TCU is so fake.
Yeah, but is Colorado?
Yeah, I think they are too. But like, that's the thing is I don't think TCU was this big juggernaut powerhouse. It's like a huge, more like victory of like whatever. Like it's just no.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. Colorado is just weird. I can't get a feel for him, and I don't think I will get a feel for him. I don't think anybody's going to get a feel for him. If you say you know what's going on with the Colorado football team, you're lying.
Yeah. All right. What do you like this week?
So my bets, I'm just going to kind of rapid fire through them. I like Mississippi State to get the upset at home versus LSU. That's one of my upsets of the week. Central Michigan plus 33.5 at Notre Dame. I think it's going to be kind of a slow, close game. I don't think Notre Dame's going to go crazy with the offense. UL Monroe plus 36.5 at Texas A&M. Just kind of like it's a big number, and I don't think Texas A&M's going to. I don't think they're as good as I once thought they were. Georgia Tech plus 20.5 at Ole Miss. Arizona minus 17.5 hosting UTEP. Those are my best bets so far. I'll probably add more, but it's going to be a light week, I think, because the games are so bad.
Yeah, agree.
But it's going to be a week you have to watch because usually weeks like this that look so bad, this is when the crazy stuff happens. So like Texas could drop the game to Wyoming randomly after beating Alabama last week. So
I know I was looking at that game too. Yeah.
Who knows?
All right. Haley, your pick 'em.
We are for an update between week 1 and week 2. Kendra, you are at 5. Tyler, you have 3.
3 wins? Okay, great.
3 wins. So we are 5-3. There's plenty of time to come back this week. The goal this week was to, with it being such an off week, find some games that y'all would find different, which I think we have 2, which is great. So game 1, LSU at Mississippi State, 11 a.m. Thoughts?
I just said I was on Mississippi State. So yeah, I'm on Mississippi State. I like the upset.
Yeah, I have LSU. I don't think that they're as bad as they have looked at times, and I'm not that high on Mississippi State at the moment.
There's so much veteran experience on that Mississippi State team, and I really like their quarterback too. but it's a weird game. I think that's just kind of one of my weird chaos energy games that I like this week.
Yeah. Okay. I don't hate that. Yeah. I don't think that I'm gonna bet against LSU at the moment, just because I don't think that they're as bad as like they may have looked at certain times. So, and yeah, I don't know anything about Mississippi State at the moment. So
Yeah.
All righty. Game number 2, Minnesota at UNC.
oh, Tyler called
Yep.
an audible, so
I
I'll
called
let
an
him go first.
audible on the fly. I need to make up some ground, so I'm going with Minnesota. Another random upset game.
Great. We love it.
I love Drake May. He won me some money earlier this season. I'm rocking with Tez Walker.
How do you feel about Drake May as an NFL prospect? Just random question. Because people really like him. He said he's the
I know.
consensus one after Caleb Williams. And I don't
Yeah.
know if I am
I'm not
in
there.
agreement. I'm not there yet either.
But I think he could be like a Phillip Rivers, Ryan Tannehill situation.
Okay. So that's better than I kind of think. I think I'm just scouting helmets at this point, but Mitch Trubisky he scares me off of UNC quarterbacks.
Yeah, I agree. That's exactly how I felt when I first saw the yeah, okay. Yeah, fuck. Now I can't get that out of my head.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
Didn't mean to do that to you, Drake, but
yeah. All right, Haley.
Game number 3. Tennessee at Florida, game of the week.
I'm calling the upset.
Yeah, me too. We're in agreement on this one.
Yep.
Same thing. You're in agreement on game 4 too. Washington at Michigan State.
Yeah, this game, we're both on Washington. It does, though, feel like I recommend that this game be added because the whole Mel Tucker drama. It does feel like a game that it's kind of like an underreaction spot for Michigan State.
I like Michigan State to cover.
Yeah, it's a big spread for Michigan State. With all this drama, it feels like they could come out and just win this game to try to, like, I know the football team's probably not thrilled about all the drama going on behind the scenes. It's not like really football related. So they could come out and play hard this week.
Yeah, I like that. All right, last one, House.
Game number 5, BYU at Arkansas. Home of Zach Wilson, BYU at Arkansas.
Shout out, friend of the show.
Friend of the show.
This just feels like a game that Arkansas would randomly lose for no real reason. I don't really have a reason for it. It feels like a game that they would just randomly drop just for fun. So
I'm just not rocking with the Mormons, man.
I'm not rocking with the Mormons. You never rock with the Mormons. You always rock opposite.
Don't rock with the Mormons all you want, but I love BYU's helmets. They're such a pretty shade of blue.
I'm not. They kick you out for watching The Hangover, blue. Bro.
Well, they can. That's good thing I'm not attending. I'm just.
They kicked out my favorite TikToker for being gay.
It'll happen.
So nope, it won't. It won't happen.
I bring them young.
Most places.
I bring them young.
I bring them young. It will happen.
Yeah.
Anyways,
those are our picks. Thanks. Stay tuned for an update.
Any other college football thoughts?
Lose every game. Yeah.
Any other
had a
thoughts?
good week last week. Good betting week last week. So
look at you.
Fingers crossed.
Okay. Right. Closing segments. Tweets of the week. Haley, I love yours.
Yeah, that's a great one.
Yeah, so this I don't know if this was a post-game conference. I don't know when this clip is from, if this is an older clip, but a member of, I believe it was Detroit sports media, some writer tweeted out a reminder about Dan Campbell's coffee order. Our man's orders 2 black venti iced coffees from Starbucks. He runs on nicotine and caffeine.
That's not all he orders. Both of those ventis had double espressos too.
Yep.
Crazy.
They said it was equivalent to drinking 8 Red Bulls in the morning.
Yeah. Psycho.
He's kind of my king.
Psychopath.
But I love
absolute psychopath energy.
I love it.
That's like my daily consumption
right now.
It's all nicotine and caffeine in that man's head.
Does he smoke cigs?
No, he did. I think he zins or whatever. He definitely dips. But I think that I have a conspiracy theory that he zins.
It would make sense. It would add up.
I was at the Patriots game
far too often.
I was at the Patriots game last weekend, and a guy gave me a fist bump because he thought that my face powder in my clear bag was a Zyn container.
Hell yeah, brother.
As much as a nicotine fiend as I am, I can't do Zins.
No shot. My tweet of the week, I don't know who this is. Someone named Ferd Turgeson on Twitter. Shout out. Tweeted a screenshot of Jameson Williams' dinner, and it was just like Cheetos covered in nacho cheese and beef.
Ew!
I don't even think that's beef in there. I think it's just like canned nacho cheese.
Yeah,
Ew,
on top
ew.
of flaming hot Cheetos. Like,
Yeah.
what the fuck? You're a professional
It's-
athlete.
That's a wild. I don't know what to say. I disavow this, Jameson. I have to
It's
disavow
so
this.
wild.
No,
But
not
honestly,
you, Jameson. Not you.
If I didn't have allergies and wasn't a health food fiend, I might try it.
Oh, I would try it. Absolutely. There's not
Yeah.
much in the world I would not try
I know we're talking
But-
about you, but not you.
Psychotic.
as far as food goes. But that's an absolute psychopath move right there.
Also, can I say something that's completely out of pocket? I'm
Please.
wearing men's boxers right now, and the fact that guys just have like a split opening in their boxers to
weird.
whip out their dick to
So
pee.
weird.
It's weird, but it's also so convenient.
Ease of access, yeah.
Like, guys
Yeah.
have all the cool shit.
Mhm.
That
Work
is
smarter,
kinda
not
wild.
harder.
I want to be a boy sometimes, and then I also hate boys. So, I would love to still be a girl and switch genitalia.
There have
That
been some
sucks.
really cool things that have come out, like tennis dresses and like skirts and stuff that they have finagled via science for us to like take off to go to the bathroom that are really cool. I'll send you the
I like
links to
the
them.
I like the like snaps on dresses.
Love a
yeah.
good snap.
All right, tea party, Haley. Ooh, Tyler, good audible. Yes.
Yeah, I
Good
need
audible.
to. Why are you all obsessed with our thoughts about the Roman Empire?
So
Because it's weird.
I
Never thought about the Roman Empire, not even once. I've never seen the movie 300. I could not tell
That's
you anything
Sparta.
about
Great
it.
movie.
I
Romans.
have no fucking
Yeah,
idea.
not Rome, but yeah,
Whatever.
That's
That's
Greek.
there you go. I never in my life think about this shit, and the fact that every guy in my
It's
life was
fascinating.
like,
How many people did you ask the other day? Because you texted me about it, asking me about the
at
Roman
least 10.
Empire. How many people said what was the consensus?
Almost every day.
Almost every day. So
Mhm.
I texted you. I'm not a big Roman guy. I'm a Vikings guy. That's my history of choice. But yeah, we think about history. We're big history guys. The male population.
Vape.
I was a history major in college before I decided I wanted to ruin my life and work in sports. So I think about the Roman Empire quite frequently. And I watch a lot of weird like history documentaries because I have severe ADHD and need to watch something while I work. So my answer was a lot. I think that
You're one of the few.
if you are invested
The few
really
are proud.
in like World War II history, that is a precursor for Republican dadism. So I would just let you know, like maybe,
No, listen.
Take effect.
Our thoughts
Take
on
effect.
history, they're not bound by political opinions.
No, they're not
Every
at all.
man thinks
no,
about the Roman
not at
Empire.
all. No,
That's
absolutely
the
not.
weird thing, Tyler. That's the
But
whole
it's a
point.
testosterone thing. It's gotta
Yes.
be.
Yeah,
It's gotta
It's
be.
weird. It's
because it's
because
fascinating.
I
No.
am an
Time's a flat
outlier,
circle.
though. I am an outlier.
if women were in charge from the jump, that shit wouldn't have happened because
It's
girls
like-
wouldn't send their babies to war.
It's like how often you all think about the moon. We just think about the Roman
Rag
Empire.
us. T.
That's our moon. Is the
Us
Roman
and the
Empire?
Kendra, myself, the gays are concerned with the moon.
The moon and the
And
phases of the
you,
moon.
Tyler, your comrades are obsessed
My
with the Roman
people,
Empire.
we
Tyler,
are
where were
obsessed
you on
with the Roman
January
Empire.
6th?
Yeah, where were you?
Listen, all right. I'm not standing for this. This slander.
The beach.
Wow.
My tea party this week, if you guys haven't heard about this, the MGM in Las Vegas was hacked. All of their casino
Yeah.
elements, their hotel elements, their everything was basically hacked into by a group of professional hackers. Not the first time this has happened in Vegas. It happened
Won't
a
be the
couple
last.
years ago. Won't be the last. The ransom from the last huge cyber attack in Vegas was $15 million, which I thought is kind of low considering how much
15 or
money
50?
probably 15.
15.
So I don't know how much the ransom is for this one. They are going to have to pay it. That's the crazy thing, because that's just how these things go. They don't have any way to fix it.
That's like such little money to them, though.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well, that
so-
was when I was like 15 million. Like, that doesn't even seem like a lot. But so the fascinating thing about this hacking is they have discovered that the way they were able to infiltrate their system was by looking up a member of the MGM IT department on LinkedIn. And they used his information to basically finagle a bunch of login out of it. And they hacked into the system. So shout out LinkedIn.
Damn.
Really making
That's crazy.
connections.
Rip.
Damn, got him. My tea party is that Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift are like rumored to be hanging out or whatever. And last night on Thursday Night Football, Jason Kelce was asked about it, but I think Tony Gonzalez, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was Gonzo. About the situation, and Jason Kelce just pulled a total bro move and was like, "Yeah, I don't know, man. He might be fucking." I would hate this for me. I would hate this for me so much. Like, their conversations are probably so dumb.
Oh, absolutely.
I will not
so
take.
dumb.
I understand.
Not on
I do
Taylor's
not
side.
co-sign. I
Taylor's
do
not the
co-sign.
problem here.
I do
In
not
my
think they're
co-sign
both the
Taylor
problem.
Swift hit. Nope, I do not co-sign Taylor
I'm
Swift's hit.
disappointed for Taylor.
I'm sorry. I will be
She could do
taking the
much
stance
better.
of the former host, Miss Sarah, in her alignment with Taylor Swift.
She could
So,
do much
sorry.
better. I'll say. I'm a big Taylor Swift guy.
I think they
But she
deserve
could do
each
better.
other.
She could do better.
Oh, good shit.
All right,
What
Tyler.
does the moon say?
The moon.
Says that you and I both have ideas that are too big for this world.
Wow.
But you say what everyone's thinking, and I don't.
do.
And that telepathy
I'm a man
is
of
a
the
form.
people.
You kind of are.
Yeah.
It says that you're currently figuring out how to concentrate on the details,
Okay.
and that I shouldn't expect you to read my mind today.
Details of the
Tyler,
Roman
what am
Empire.
I thinking right now?
Not about the Roman Empire.
You know the answer.
It is not about the Roman Empire.
I know the answer.
Cats.
Oh, yes. The slay all day cats.
Yes, slay all day, sad cats forever. All right. That's all we got for blah 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 blah.
We'll be
Blah,
back
blah.
on Tuesday.
I waited until the end. See you next Tuesday. Any closing thoughts?
No closing thoughts. Have a great weekend, everybody. Enjoy the fall weather.
Hope you win all your bets.
Fall weather, aka fucking
The
hurricane.
hurricane.